Hello and welcome to another edition of Sandshark Bites. I'm your host Justin Jarrett, joined as always by James A. Duffy. Didn't think I was going to get to say that this week because the schedule was playing havoc, but the weather played havoc with the schedule. So here we are, our regularly scheduled time, same bat channel, if you will, and same bat co-host. We were trying to work things out. Looked like we had baseball and softball scheduled for our usual shooting time, but lo and behold, the rain came along and wiped it out, and so we're able to do things as usual. Glad to be up here sharing the stage with you again, Duffy.
I am too. I did hear rumors that you were out getting replacements lined up, and I realized I had to do whatever I could to keep my chair
Yep,
here.
I was fishing for a fill-in co-host, and I've got one for future use if ever needed. You know,
right.
if we ever give you the boot, I've already got my short
Perfect.
list compiled, and I know where to go. But happy to have Duffy here. Of course, it means that we're not playing baseball and softball this week. Baseball had a game against Benedict College at home that got wiped out, which is unfortunate in the sense that we needed to end this losing streak, and we had a great chance against the team we just beat a couple of weeks ago. So sad to see that one knocked off the schedule. Softball had a doubleheader against Middle Georgia. Couldn't get that one in. The field just too soupy out in Hardyville. Hopefully things will dry out for this weekend. A couple big series. Baseball is going to be at home on Friday and Saturday, taking on Ave Maria in a Big Sun Conference series. We need to win that series very badly. That'll be 3 o'clock on Friday, and then noon for a doubleheader on Saturday, and then softball on Sunday. Embry-Riddle in the rivalry matchup, I guess.
And that'll be our youth day too, as well.
Youth
so
day.
bring the kids out to have some in-between game special events planned by the team and by Coach Eberling. For all the aspiring softball players in the world to come out and watch our teams play and do a little on-field participation.
Should be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a big series because USCB is sitting at 4-0 in the conference right now. Embry-Riddle's just played one conference doubleheader. They're 1-1, but they're the defending regular season champions, edged us out by one game last year. So I know that our girls are fired up for that one, ready to go get some revenge, and going to be an interesting weekend.
And after Ashley Lehman gets her medical clearance, we're hoping for this week, hopefully get to see her back inside the circle and doing some damage in her own right there.
Yeah, Ashley would. It'd be great to get her back, but how about Kendall Jumper and her performance with Ashley out the past week? Kendall won all 3 of her starts, had a couple of really good performances. Actually, I nominated her for the Pitcher of the Week, and only a fantastic performance by her. Kelly Bianco from Embry-Riddle kept her from winning that, but Kendall won all 3 of her starts, beat Warner in 7 innings, a complete game, and then threw, not Warner, but Northwood, 8 innings against Northwood, and then threw 7 against St. Thomas. Complete games in both of those, as well as a win over Edward Waters. So awesome job by her, and Bobby was pretty excited on the social media.
So she always is helpful in keeping us updated as to what's happening around the student life, or student lives, I guess, of our softball players.
Yeah, we're very proud of Kendall and of that team. You know, they went down there, never easy to win on the road, had some close games and were able to pull them out late, came from behind a couple of times. Good to see them start to swing the bats a little bit better. Play some small ball was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've relied on the home run a little bit too much at times, but Marissa Becker stole a ton of bases. I think she had 8 this weekend. Maddie Bird had 10 RBIs on the week, so it was a really good week for Sandshark softball. Moved up 1 spot to number 24 in the top 25, and hoping for much more after another great weekend this weekend.
4-0 in the conference, 16-8 overall. It's looking pretty good.
For baseball, not quite as much.
We got to stop the bleeding. We need a Kevin Costner Bull Durham rain delay just to get their minds right. We're getting a day off today, and maybe they come back around.
The good news is it's not because they're lollygaggers. They're playing hard. They have just hit a stretch in the schedule here that is brutal. They had, Northwood, who's ranked 7th in the country. Then they had an Embry-Riddle team that was outside the top 25 for the first time in forever and was out for blood. And, we could have taken one of those games at Northwood, should have really, and could have taken the first game against Embry-Riddle, and it didn't go our way. And then the wheels just came off on Saturday, and had a tough time out there. And, I know the guys are frustrated, but they've still got everything in front of them. All you got to do is get into that top 6, get into the tournament, and we have 3 more conference series to try to do it.
In a Monday morning interview with Chaston Venezia, he said, been beat before, but never that bad. So they just got to get a day off and get that out of their system and come back and play like we've seen them play at the beginning of this season.
It was tough to watch, but the guys got back on the horse, and they went over and put up a pretty good fight in Savannah against Armstrong State, which is number 9 in the nation, NCAA Division II. So they lost 10-2, but were tied early on and played better than that score would indicate. The pitching, got away from us a little bit, but it was great to see Junior De La Torre pitch a lot better last week. Really turned in a strong outing and probably should have gotten the win there. A couple unearned runs did him in. Jamie Strock pitched pretty well again. So we've still got the pieces there. We've got some injuries, and we're trying to keep guys healthy. We're holding it together by a thread, which we knew was going to be a concern for this team. If anybody went down with an injury, it was going to be a little bit dangerous. We got Saldivar walking around in a boot and just trying to get as healthy as he can for Friday and Saturday, and that's probably the way it's going to continue the rest of the season.
We've run out of boots, by the way. If you got extra boots kicking around in your basement from previous leg injuries, come drop them off at the recreation facility to Joey. The soccer team seems to all be.
And this has been a very effective fundraising or in-kind donation raising tool, as we'll learn later in the show when Coach Larry Kimball comes on to talk track and field. Duffy's on-air pleas are very effective.
We would like to thank Ashley Lehman's dad for tuning in to Sand Shark Bites and making a donation of a brand new javelin to the track and field team. And
I saw it with my own eyes today.
It's a beautiful thing. The small changes, when we think about donations to a university, people get a little overwhelmed sometimes thinking that you need to make a 4-digit donation, and sometimes it's just what we can afford in looking through the catalog, and that makes a great addition to a small team that needs your help.
Absolutely. And speaking of that track and field team, we'll talk about it more with Coach Kimball, but another great weekend this weekend. I believe they had 7 school records, a couple individual champions, continue to just put up impressive numbers and put on great performances. I'm always hurt that we don't get opportunities to go see them, because it's exciting to see how well they're doing, but they just don't. When they compete in our backyard, it seems like we're always busy with other things and can't get out to see them. But
it's like going to see golf.
Great team.
You need 4 hours of a day, and sometimes it's pretty early in the morning to get up and go watch track and field, and it's hard.
And then it's over in 10.85 seconds.
Right. While I'd like to make an appeal for $2.5 million to build ourselves a little track and field facility here, I'm not going to quite go that far. But you will be able to see Becky Hayden's submission to the Research and Scholarship Day, where she is putting forward the proposal to see how a real track and field facility would benefit this university.
Fantastic. Well, I know Coach Kimball has had discussions with people about what it would cost to make it happen. So we're hoping that sooner rather than later we can make that happen. We'd love to be hosting meets right here on campus. Who else we have? The golf team. You mentioned golf. Our athlete of the week last week, Judd Malam, picked up Sun Conference Golfer of the Week honors. So that verified that we made the right choice there. And then the men had the week off this week. Although we didn't talk about the men played SCAD on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
edged them 291 to 292, one-shot victory. The Battle of the Bridge series, they're calling it. So that's going to be a fun little series. And Brad Curran picked up medalist honors there, so that was great. And then the women were in action up in Charlotte Monday and Tuesday. They tied for 4th in a 16-team field. The other 15 all NCAA Division II teams, a couple of ranked teams in there, and a couple more receiving votes. So a good field. Coach Bennett was a little upset because they tied for 4th, but they were 2 shots out of 2nd, and she would have much rather been in 2nd than in 4th. So, some improvement to be made there. That's the thing that they find themselves kicking themselves about every time is these 2 triple bogeys or these 2 3-putts and where those shots can be saved. But they're playing well and building up toward those national championships out in Pooler. So hope people will get out and cheer them on out there. And that brings us to the end, except for soccer.
We skipped over in track and field another track athlete of the week.
We did. Brandon Gourdine, our hurdler, he won the 400 hurdles, I believe. Also had a great time in the 110 hurdles, and then was on the 4x1 team that placed well too. So he picked up Sun Conference track and field men's track and field track athlete of the week as opposed to field athlete of the week. Surprisingly, Betsy Douglas did not win the award this week, despite 2 school records, but that's because Ellie Staker from Embry-Riddle just blew it out of the water. She's a national champion in the 1,000 meters, and she had an amazing week, so just tough luck of the draw for Betsy. But she had a fantastic week as well, and continues to put up impressive performances every week.
And we did have a little soccer.
We did. Did you get out to soccer?
I didn't get out as much as I'd wanted to. Personal calendar changed at home and couldn't quite get down here.
I was tied up with something, baseball,
yeah.
softball. I was at the field for baseball on Saturday, so I missed it. But the 0-0 tie.
It was a 0-0 tie.
As you learned on USCB Blast Broadcast, if you watched their first episode, which is fantastic. Check them out as well.
But when the Radio Shack by my house went out of business last month, and bullhorns were on sale for $34, so I bought myself one. So I'm ready to do PA, even if we can't set up the PA system. I am loaded for bear.
You're just looking for a reason.
I'm looking for a reason. I'm going to have class outside and have them way far away and teach via amplification there.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Bring it on the show.
We're going to play again.
Playing again.
We're going to have a round robin.
Playing again on Saturday. Playing a club team out of Jacksonville, and I don't recall who the other team is. There's a college team coming down as well. I'm not sure who it is, and then we go up to Erskine for our third scrimmage of the spring. So, but the 0-0 tie, a little misleading because apparently we just dominated that game, had possession throughout, really frustrated USC Aiken, and really only had to make one save. Chelsea Mummert, who has no eligibility left after this year, but is still hanging on and playing goalie for the spring, made a great save to preserve the 0-0 tie. Just looking for those finishers. So hopefully Coach Eberling can bring in a couple forwards who can finish, and we've got all the other pieces in place.
The empty boot and crutch cabinet in the training facility makes me nervous.
Yes.
With a lot of these players out there limping along, especially in these rainy days, they're going to hurt themselves even more.
The boots work magic, though. I mean, it really does stabilize and keep them from doing too much on it, and really helps them improve much quicker. So Joey's doing yeoman's work with
I'm
our
sure
student
he's working
athletes.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week over there.
Yeah, that room is hopping. There are lots of athletes getting there, getting treatment, and shout out to Joey Wilson for keeping our athletes as healthy as possible, getting them back on the field as quickly as possible. Well, I guess that's going to do it for our wrap-up segment. We'll have Coach Larry Kimball on next on Sand Shark Bites. Hi, and welcome back to Sand Shark Bites, joined now by Coach Larry Kimball, once again, a repeat guest, and he's a guest just about every season, it seems like, because we've got cross country in the fall, track and field in the spring, and track and field season is heating up. Larry, you took a bunch of kids up to a really great meet up in Myrtle Beach, the Shamrock Invitational, and had some fantastic results. Just tell us about some of the standout performers from last weekend.
Oh, golly, we had 7 school records. Our freshman women's sprinters, Maya Cooper and Faith Calloway, broke the school record in the 100 and the 200 respectively. Our 4x1 team with those two plus 2 others, Sierra Love and Becky Hayden, broke the school record in the 4x1. Let's see, that's 3.
Betsy Douglas had a couple of them.
Betsy Douglas, she had 2 school records. She broke the oldest school record when she ran 2:19 in the 800 and came back and ran 5:06 in the mile, both school records by a pretty sizable margin. Anthony Vecchio broke another old record from 2009, ran 15:06 at 5,000 meters. And am I missing one? I think that's just about it. I think there were 7, but
I think we're definitely missing one. That's 6 out of the 7. We're drawing a blank on the other one. I'm sure you'll think of it eventually.
We will halfway through the show.
So when we interject with another school record, that you'll know what it was. Larry had an epiphany. Well, it was a great performance. You didn't come up with any national qualifiers this weekend, but inching closer and closer, and I know you have your sights on a few of those in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we are. And the 7th one, as it just hit me, was Daryl Dunham in the 400.
There it is. Broke his own record, so it's easy to forget.
50:04. So he's very close to qualifying for nationals, as is Brandon Gordine in the hurdles, both hurdles, the low hurdles and the high hurdles. Betsy Douglas isn't quite there yet. She's got a national qualifier in the marathon, as does Anthony Vecchio. I expect both of them to hit qualifying standards here in the next couple of weeks, along with Nick O'Neill in the steeplechase.
And I know you have a meet coming up this week, and then a big one on the horizon at Daytona Beach. Tell us about your upcoming schedule.
This Friday we go to Jacksonville to North Florida Spring Break Invitational. We're only going to bring about 12 kids just to work on some different things. We're going to bring Daryl Dunham and Pamela Robinson to run the 100 and the 200, which is kind of not their event, but we're just trying to work on some speed. Nick O'Neill's going to run the 800, which is not his event. We're, again, working on some speed. So we're going to work on a few different things there. I
know Duffy was pretty proud of the fact that after he talked on here about trying to raise money for a javelin, you magically came up with a javelin. Did Sandshark Bites affect social change at USCB?
you know me with social media. I don't tweet and I don't Facebook or any of that stuff. But Bob Lehman, who does all our printing, gave me a phone call a couple weeks ago and says, I'll buy your javelin. So that javelin should be here in the next day or so.
And that happened because of Duffy's activism on the show?
Yeah, Duffy's my agent now. So we're hoping that he can come through with a few more things for us.
All right, well, then let's go ahead and put a wish list out there. Anything else we need right now, Coach?
Well, we got the women's javelin. We get a men's javelin. We do have 20 hurdles, which is plenty. We're looking for our men's shot put. One of our team members, I won't mention any names, left it in Savannah a week ago. So, but we've got what we need. I'm pretty low key about things like that, and I think we'll be fine.
So now all we need is a track on campus. So if anybody wants to fork out the big bucks, you know where to find me or Coach Kimball, and we'll talk about building a track on campus that looks like beautiful Hayward Field that we're standing behind here.
Yeah, that's Hayward Field from Eugene, Oregon in the background, and I've been out there a few times. That's the mecca of track and field. It's also called Tracktown, USA, and if we can get something like Hayward Field, we'd be in great shape.
Just need that Nike money, and I'm sure it will happen right away. Right. We just need someone like Phil Knight from Nike to move in here and latch on, and we'll be in good shape. All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us, catching us up on Sandshark Track and Field Team. Great results every weekend, and we're looking forward to many more as we build up toward the conference championships.
Thank you very much, JJ. We'll talk to you soon.
Be right back with more here on Sandshark Bites.
At the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, we offer small classes, individual attention, and an affordable education in an atmosphere that fosters diversity and achievement.
We are students.
We field 9 Sandshark sports teams that compete in the Sun Conference.
We are athletes.
We are one university with 2 campuses serving the coastal areas of South Carolina and Georgia.
We are the Low Country.
We are the fastest growing 4-year school in the University of South Carolina system. We are USCB.
An experience with Coach Kimball at any kind of public speaking event where he's going to be speaking. Just when he starts going,
in fairness to Coach, he coaches 4 teams, and he loves his kids.
Yeah,
I mean, he is so enthusiastic about everything that his kids are doing and how well they're performing, and he could hold court for days and days. He loves to talk about it, and he's a great guy to talk to, so nobody shuts him down.
And when you look at the rosters, he's got 50 players on the 2 track and field teams. There's 50 players on that roster.
Yeah, he's got a lot to talk about, so so nobody cuts him off. We just let him go and get through what he needs to get through, and he takes as much time as he needs, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
He's earned it, for sure. He's been here since the beginning, endured more years in the dastardly trailers than any of us, so he gets to talk for as long as he wants. And while that guy was interviewing him, we did not chat it over about who we are going to make the Athlete of the Week.
There are lots of good things. I mean, we have Judd and Brandon winning the Players of the Week for their respective things.
As we mentioned, Betsy had good enough credentials to win. She just was up against strong competition.
Kendall Jumper
with another great week. Maddie Bird had a great week. Marissa Becker had a great week. Brad Curran won medalist honors. I mean, we've got a whole bunch to choose from, and I guess I'm on the spot now. I'm going to have to make that decision. And for me, the circumstances would dictate that it would be Kendall Jumper.
I'm with you all the way.
You agree?
I'm with you.
All right. Well, Kendall Jumper, as we mentioned earlier in the show, had to fill in. She has not been one of the top 2 pitchers for USCB, hasn't been pitching in those big doubleheaders always. But she came into a big spot with Ashley Lehman injured and made 3 starts and 1 relief appearance this week, picked up 3 wins, had an ERA, I believe 1.13, just allowed 3 earned runs in 19 innings. So a fantastic week for Kendall Jumper. Got out of some jams down at Northwood and St. Thomas to preserve a couple big wins down there. And depending on Ashley's health outlook for the coming week, we may be counting on Kendall even more as the season goes on. So it's great to know we have that third ace in the staff now, and if she can continue to do what she's going to do or what she has done, it's going to be a great season for USCB softball. So congratulations to Kendall on a great week and your first Sandshark Bites Athlete of the Week honors. That's going to do it for us this week on Sandshark Bites. We'll be back next week for more on the latest involving USCB athletics. Until then, keep those fins up.